Hi, my name is Ingrid Jean-Baptiste. I'm the founder and executive director of the Chelsea Film Festival in New York. Welcome to CUNY TV Presents, a brand new initiative focusing on filmmakers and their exceptional cinematic work. For the next few weeks, you can catch up with content from the Chelsea Film Festival and discover new stories that will make you think, believe, and hopefully inspire you. To help contextualize the films you are about to see, I'm excited to introduce our wonderful panel of filmmakers who have shown their beautiful work at the Chelsea Film Festival in previous years. Let me start with Evgeniya Radilova, an actress born and raised in Bulgaria, who is a lifetime member of the Actors Studio's acting and playwriting directing units. You've seen her in Spartacus, Limitless, Elementary, Blue Bloods, Law & Order SVU, and many more. Evgeniya is also an award-winning writer, director, and producer. Her most recent work, Lost Cause, was the closing film at the Chelsea Film Festival's 10th anniversary, where she won Best Actress and the Audience Award for Best Picture. Congratulations again. Next is Georgina Tolentino, born and raised in San Francisco. Georgina is of Filipino-European descent. She's an actress, award-winning writer, and producer. She's also the founder of Urduja Films, which focuses on amplifying women's perspectives and intersectional storytelling. Her most recent film, No Dogs, about the Watsonville riots, won Petit Prix for Best Short Film and Audience Award at the 2021 Chelsea Film Festival. Brava. And finally, Tony Amatullo, former vice president at Warner Brothers, a veteran director, executive producer, and writer. He has directed and produced studio, indie, and television projects across the world. Tony is a Peabody Award winner and a Directors Guild of America member. I myself founded the Chelsea Film Festival in 2013 after a terrible car accident. And the goal of creating this platform was really to amplify, as I said, voices, emerging talents, and independent filmmakers. And really what drives me every single day is to elevate those voices. And one question I have for all is to understand the genesis of your work and know, when did you want to be a storyteller? And is there any specific event in your life that made you decide to pursue this career? And anyone can start.
Thank you, first of all, so much of having us and providing this space for young and not, like just upcoming filmmakers. We're honored. And I've always been an actress until a few years where the opportunity of directing a music video came and the world behind the camera opened up for me, and I said, wow, I kind of have my life back into my hands and I can take control because acting a lot of the times is, waiting on somebody else to like your work or to fit the right part. So it just opened up this amazing world behind the camera, and I have not stopped ever since.
Thank you. Georgina?
I think I've always been a storyteller since I was a little kid. Halloween was my favorite holiday, and I think I would take it another level. But I think my fondest love of filmmaking was watching movies with my dad. And he loved comic books, Greek mythology, all this, and that would be my bedtime story. So I felt very safe and creative to be fully expressed as a storyteller. And I think choosing to become an actor, you're never just going to be an actor. I think there's an opportunity to tell stories and like you said, not waiting around for someone to cast you in something and taking charge. And I think that's what I realize is empowering myself to put a pen in my hand and start writing and start being a part of the change instead of feeling like I have to wait for the train to invite me to get on versus driving my own train. And it's the most fulfilling decision I've ever made. To be amongst other actors or creatives or writer directors, I think you can be the example of the change you want to see. So that's been my journey.
Thank you. I love the idea of the train. We usually hear the seat at the table, but I like this metaphor. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Tony, when did you know you wanted to be a storyteller? Is there a particular moment in your life that you can share?
Right. So just before we start, I just want to say congratulations again for the Chelsea Film Festival, and what an honor it is for all of us to have been part of it. And also a shout out to CUNY for this new initiative, and the fact that I know in the city now is a very difficult time for universities and everybody's under financial pressure. And these are the kind of programs that I think need to be supported for filmmakers and students as well. So to answer the question, I've been very blessed. I grew up in New York City, born and raised in the city. And I had the fortune of having a childhood friend named Bruno Kirby. Now, Bruno was a character actor who was in The Godfather Part 2 and Harry Met Sally. And Bruno was a very special spirit in the world. And as a best friend, he was my, introduction to the business and to this world of creativity. And he and I had this great synchronicity our whole lives and careers. And so through him, I developed my skills, and albeit I spent many, many years on the corporate side as in production, eventually I found my way clear to the producing and the creative side as well.
I love the hat, by the way.
Well, our film is titled Surviving on LES, and for people who don't know who...
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that person, because there's always a person. You mentioned your dad, you mentioned your
Bruno.
friend Bruno. And what about you? Is there any particular person?
Well, my mom was one of the best actresses for my country, as well as my dad. So
in Bulgaria.
I was very fortunate to grow up with storytelling, and that was just our way of expressing, any problems that we had, any desires, any passions, and I just kind of naturally followed their steps.
Wonderful. Georgina, let's get into the film, all of your films that you've made. And I know it's very difficult to make a film. A lot of it's also very rewarding at the end. Georgina, you wrote a very poignant story about the 1930s Watsonville riots. And as I mentioned, you are of European Filipino descent. This story is a short film, No Dogs. Why was it so important for you to revisit this moment in life, in history?
I think I've always been a lover of history. And I think it was so shocking that we never really studied this part of history at school. And this is a story about the Watsonville riots, which was a race riot that erupted in the late 1920s, early 30s, that swept Central California. And it was because of this influx of immigration of Filipinos coming to California, and started, what resulted was this hate group called the Night Riders. And they would commit these hate crimes at nighttime. And I just thought it was very relevant to, especially what was going on in the current day, which is like the anti-Asian hate crimes that were happening. And I felt like I needed to amplify this particular story. And so I wrote something very simple in 2021 during a lot of limitations for filmmaking. Two people on opposite sides stuck in a diner, forced to have a conversation. And I think we need to have more of those conversations today to kind of bridge the gap between our differences and find and overpower what's similar between us versus what's different. And I think that I wanted to humanize both sides and why people can grow up thinking certain things. And so I think this was a very powerful story for me to write for Alex Fabros, who is a key historian for the Filipino American history society and also Asian American studies. And I think media is very powerful. Sometimes we may not want to read that book or watch that documentary, but people will go see a movie.
Yeah, and your character is a very strong Asian woman who is a widow. I don't want to reveal too much for our audience members that are going to watch the film, but how did you prepare for that role? Is it connected to a family story in a way, or?
I think I prepared by really looking at women of the time. Our version of being a modern strong woman will probably be very different around the 1930s and 20s. And I think for that, I studied Alexander technique, and which is kind of training yourself to be of that, the mannerisms of that time. And also, I did talk to women who had family members during this time and how they would conduct themselves. And I realized, you know, less is more of that time. How you speak and carry yourself. And to be honest, before we started shooting, I kind of set an intention, you know, to all the people that went through this, and to kind of channel that through the part, and to honor the people that spent their life working on preserving this part of history so we don't repeat it.
And what was the perception of people when you showed it at film festivals?
One of the most memorable moments, and thank you again for being such a pivotal part of the Chelsea Film Festival, and was people coming up to me who were not Filipino and saying, I lived this. People from Russia, people who were Jewish, people who from South America. And I realized, because the sign "No Dogs," that, you know, meant no dogs, no Filipinos, no Jews at the time. There's variations of that. And I think what was really wonderful was that it related to people, and it made them not ashamed to share that part of their culture and their history, and to kind of use it as to empower themselves. So that was really moving.
Yeah. I want to share something about, you mentioned that you created your film, wrote the film in 2021 after, you know, a time that we all lived through, the pandemic and the lockdown. And there is one person that came to mind when you're telling the story. Her name is Sheila, and she watched your film during 2021 from the Philippines.
Oh, yes.
And she didn't know about the story, and the beauty of also, you know, telling, writing these important films is that it transcends, you know, borders, and we're all in the same world. You know, we're all human beings. We all connect. We can all connect the same way. And she's, I mean, 1,000 miles away. And I think that she reached out to you on social media and said how deeply touched she was by the story. Yeah, because I personally didn't know also about these riots. So thank you.
Thank you.
Tony.
Yes.
Now let's talk about surviving on LES.
Okay.
Your film talks about gentrification, but in a very light and humorous fashion, I want to say. I happen to also live in the Lower East Side myself, so I have a personal, I want to say, connection to your film, because over the past 10 years, I have seen the change. I used to live in Chelsea, and now I live in the Lower East Side, and I've seen the change. But I still want to say that it's still the coolest area, coolest neighborhood in New York City.
I agree.
Tell us about who Sammy is, and why did you want to portray his story?
Right. So surviving on LES, again, which is a Lower East Side acronym here in New York City, is a story of, as Ingrid indicated, of gentrification and of New York trying to hold on to its roots while also expanding. So as a young boy in New York growing up, on Sundays with my mom and dad, I would go to the Lower East Side. That's where one went to shop, because none of the department stores, there were blue laws, and there was nothing open in New York. So all the New Yorkers would go to Lower East Side,
Orchard Street.
Orchard Street, and shop for underwear and socks and shoes. And I would remember as a kid digging my hand into a barrel of pickles, and you know, before those codes, and you could pull out your own pickle and what have you. So it left a very impression. And there were many Hasidic Jews down there who owned the stores. And I always thought they were wonderful merchants and funny, and I just had this great affinity for that city, that part of the city, and those merchants. So so cut to 25 years in Hollywood, working and making movies and projects, traveling around the world, and then a life change, which brought me back to New York City, and as happenstance would have, I was down on the Lower East Side and came across this merchant who'd been there for 30, 40 years with his father before, named Sammy Gluck, who owned the quintessential haberdasher store. And Sammy was an extraordinary character. I liked him immediately, I guess based on having grown up. And then I started going back just to say hello. He was always trying to sell me stuff, which was none of my style, but you know, he was the quintessential salesman, so I always entertained him. And the next time I went back, he said, "Oh, you got to meet my salesman, Mario. Mario is, is from Jamaica and African-American guy." So I said, "This is interesting. You got a Hasidim guy and a Jamaican guy." And then the third time I went back, he said, "Oh, you got to meet my other salesman, who's an Italian-American guy." So I thought, wow, this is really a melting pot of New York, of these three lives. So I started in my head putting the film together, thinking, which is now something directors do, of using real people mixed with actors, trained actors. And that was the genesis for the film.
Almost like a docu-fiction.
There you go. Yeah. And they were, they all lived the lives and knew it. So we put together a script that was based on their, experiences and what have you, and hired wonderful, wonderful actors here in New York. And we were able to put together Surviving on LES.
So did the store survive?
The store, at this point is not there anymore. It, again, it's just such, a change in that part of town where people went and shopped and what have you. So it's even more, Ingrid, important that we have it on film, and we have Sammy's story for generations to come. Now it'll go into the archives of what have you. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So all your films, Surviving on LES, No Dogs, and we're going to get to Evgeniya's film, El Cavil, talk about social issues, right? And this is what the Chelsea Film Festival is all about. That's why I really wanted to create such a platform to talk about whatever we live through and how we can raise awareness. So here we have gentrification, race, and El Cavil talks about homelessness and more. So, Evgeniya, so much has happened since you wrote your first film, El Cavil.
Yes.
And you just produced in your first film. You starred in it.
Yeah.
It's called Lost Cause.
Lost Cause.
It won the Chelsea Film Festival 10th anniversary Best Actress Award,
Amazing.
Best Audience Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so the film El Cavil was one of your first films.
Yes.
You wrote, you produced it. You did not direct this one.
I did.
Oh, you did direct this one. You did direct this one. So you directed, you produced, but you didn't star in it. That's what I wanted. That's
one of the only projects I wasn't a part of, like, in front of the camera.
As the actress, yes.
Yes.
Which we're used to see you as. It is a black and white and color film.
Yeah.
It has this Chaplin-esque style of
It's an
filmmaking.
absolute homage to Charlie Chaplin and the silent era. I feel like the whole film is an homage to the old traditions that I think that they're very important to me as a storyteller. What makes a difference is the old traditions and the little things in life that really makes you happy. and what are those? And for this homeless, beautiful soul, he really believed that if you have a shine on your shoes, you'll have a melody in your heart. And it was so important for him to have your shoes polished. And he didn't care about the 25 cents or any of that. And the new, the new fast world did not really understand that. People ran and, thought he was a crazy person or didn't have time and just dropped him 25 cents. And he was going out of his mind because he just really wanted to change the way you feel. And I think this is very important because today is so fast and everything is so commercialized and computers and we're all on the phones and human connection is lost. And I really just wanted to capture this old tradition. And I love homeless people. I want to be very rich one day and have a home for older people and homeless people. I think that they all deserve a chance in life, and we all have dreams and hopes. And I wonder what it would be, for this little man to express his heart.
So let's switch gears now to a new initiative that I want to share with you. You probably heard of it. We just recently launched the Chelsea Film Festival Screenwriting Incubator that will support 10 BIPOC emerging screenwriter directors. And thank you to TD Bank for supporting this program. It is so important, as we mentioned earlier, that we not only talk about, diversity, but we put it in our scripts, on and off camera, on and off set. And I want to give you a little stats and let me know how you feel about it. So according to a 2022 nationwide report conducted by the WGA West, only 29.6% of screenwriters are women, 22.6% are BIPOC, and 9.6% are BIPOC women. So there is an undeniable misrepresentation in the people chosen to write the stories on screen, and a problem that translates in the characters and the stories we show on the screen. So, Georgina, you are a BIPOC writer. I know this question about diversity, you mentioned it is so important to you. And you talked about how No Dogs, was a story that had to be told. I understand that we have a lot of stories that we want to tell, but was there any moment, while the process of writing and then pitching the story to whoever, people in the industry, to your friends, to your family members, was there a moment where you said, I won't be able to tell that story? It's too hard? Or were you so determined that you said, I'm going to fight through and I'm going to make it happen? Tell me.
I think we all made this happen. Randall, our director, who was great, also produced. I did. We kind of self-funded the project. I've had other projects that have had resistance, and a lot of it is looking at demographics similar to that, saying, oh, well, women-led films or these kind of films, they have their niche, so it's hard to fund. And I think of my nieces, and I think of when I grew up, and it really affects you when you don't see people who look like you on screen, because it does, like, even for women to have these kind of fairy tales subconsciously told to you to wait for like a guy or whatever, and that does happen with culture and how you are seen. And I think it's really important to, like I said, be an example and tell your story, because it affects us as kids and what we see and our place in the world. And so I think of that little girl who wished that she saw more of people like us on screen and made it equal. Because we all love movies, and everyone deserves to have their family seen on screen and their voice be heard. And so for me, I look at those numbers and go, all right, let's change it. You know, let's be a part of change. And instead of it as a hindrance, it's something that I use as like, okay, challenge accepted. And let's all work together to make it happen. And our crew was of all backgrounds, and they felt it was really important to tell this story. I think I was the only Filipino person. So that's what I think of. It's not about me, it's about we.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. We have a little bit more time too. I want to ask you, you just mentioned about how the process, right? And what keeps you going? What keeps you going to want to tell more? It's a tough business, isn't it? So what makes you want to, you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm just going to keep going?
I think, Ingrid, it's belief. You know, you have to believe that you can make a difference and that your work has a story to tell that's unique. And so you pursue it. You know, like you say, it's a very difficult business. There's always somebody to tell you no or why it can't be done. So for young filmmakers out there, you just have to believe it. You have to put your head down. You have to keep punching and find a way. It's up to you as a filmmaker to also be pragmatic and find a way and not take no for an answer.
Evgeniya.
Yeah, and for me, I really believe that storytelling has a healing power, and I'm so interested in what, how does one come out of pain, come out of struggle, and what makes you change. And I think that it's very important to, do art that will inspire and heal and transform. And we all need that.
What exciting projects are you currently working on?
So I have two actually that I'm working on right now. One where hopefully the film's in Morocco. It's based on a book called Assembly of the Dead, which takes place in 1906. And we've just attached a wonderful director named Adam Arkin, who's a high-end Hollywood episodic director. So we're preparing that. And then I have an option on another book on the life of Elaine Black Unida, who's this extraordinary American Jewish woman who was the only woman ever to be interned in Manzanar. She was married to a Japanese-American man, and when they came to take her son Tommy to the camp, she wouldn't go without him. And she was an activist in San Francisco. And so it's a very, very exciting project. It's a star turn for an Asian actress. And so those are my two.
Great.
Yeah.
Georgina?
Well, we are doing the feature version of No Dogs, so that's exciting.
Great.
And I have about 2 more projects that I'll just announce soon. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And for me, Lost Cause is the biggest project of my life. I've been producing this, co-producing with a few more people for 4 years. And it's the origin of a self-made superhero. And of course, it's a woman. And we want to support, the fantasy and the how art can really transform your life.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you to our guest. It was wonderful having you. I wish you the best of luck in your careers. I hope everyone at home enjoyed today's conversation. Please spread the word about CUNY TV Presents and follow Chelsea Film Festival on social media. We need the arts more than ever. Thank you all for watching.